Right. Welcome to After Five Radio, your favorite online radio station, showcasing Zimbabweans in the diaspora. I am your host, aka the Hype Lady, Miss ThandoAmy, coming to you live all the way from Canada. And joining me today is a hip hop artist and songwriter originally hailing from Zimbabwe. People, this is the fun part, because we actually showcase Zimbabweans in the diaspora, but he is actually based in the United States of America with a new podcast entitled The KapCity Show. Very interesting, and we're going to get into it. And you know what? I am so super excited about that. So if you haven't listened to his music and his new podcast, feel free to check it out on all streaming platforms. But right now, please help me welcome Keith Guza Jr., professionally known as KapCity. Welcome, KapCity. Well, I wish I could use these buttons, but I'm still learning.
We're still learning. We're gonna get there step by step.
That's it, right? So anyway, just for starters, KapCity, it's such a pleasure and an honor to have you right here on After Five Radio. And oh my gosh, you're trending, my brother. You're trending. And I was like, my producer, I need an interview. I need it.
Crazy. Crazy. Phone's been nonstop since Monday. It's crazy.
Right? I can imagine. I can so imagine. But congratulations on your new podcast again. And we are definitely going to dive into it so we get to know what it is all about and, give insight, to our people in Zimbabwe, because I know with what's been circulating right now, it's all in good faith, right? But taken out of proportion, and we are here to set the record straight, right? Because it's all in love, if I should put it that way, right?
That's right.
So to start off, bring our listeners up to speed with your upbringing, a little bit about your background and all that fun stuff.
So my full name is Keith Guza Jr., as you said. Obviously, my dad's Keith Guza, just based off of that, and he was a politician as well. Also, she does her thing in the committee, and she's a farmer. Basically grew up in Zim. Born in Zim, grew up in the United States in North Carolina. Lived there for almost 10 years, and then I traveled back to Zimbabwe because just basically my dad and my mom kind of had a plan that we would go there to kind of start off our life, and then the second, I guess, midway through our life, we would figure out move back to Zimbabwe so we can have a better standard of living, and that was the case. What happened next? And then that's when I launched my career. I launched my music career from 9 years old after I saw Bow Wow performing, and I was just so inspired by him that I could do that. Seeing a young kid who's 7 years old get on and start rapping and making something of it from what it seemed. I just felt like, I could do that too. And ended up writing my first verse then. Obviously coming from a music home, dad plays guitar. Dad likes a lot of West Coast rap, a lot of East Coast rap too. Just used to get influenced by that around the house. And then that transitioned into my character, into my love for music, my love for hip hop. And then when I got to Zim and we had the opportunity, because we were more, as people love to say, privileged. We were more privileged, had a better standard of living. We were able to take that passion and turn it into something real, make music with the great late Fortune Barutza. And he's the one that made my first single, Let's Party. And back then I was Lil Keith with my brother Kevin. So we were Lil Keith and Lil Kev. And yeah, we pushed that. Shout out to DJ Gula. Yeah, we did that.
Okay. Now this is getting interesting. Okay, go ahead.
That was the beginning of everything. And just from there, that's when it kind of catapulted, and I kind of kept that rap love, that rap energy all the way through college. That's when I changed my name from Lil Keith, because I wasn't little anymore. Changed that to capital K. A lot of people know capital K. That's the name that most Zimbabweans now, especially, can kind of correlate with me. And then I did that. Then I went to college, and then at some point, I just used to call myself KapCity. I don't know where that came from, but it just started happening. Then my boy Trix one day was like, yo, listen, why don't you just call yourself KapCity? You're now in the States now. We now live here, just a brand new face, brand new look. KapCity sounds dope. It's got a better ring to it. Let's do that. So 2017, we switched over from capital K to KapCity. That's my name. And this is where we are today.
Right. Oh my gosh, that is a lot. And I have learned quite a bit, especially at the start of your career. It is actually quite interesting learning that. And then you've been in the game for the longest, if I should put it that way, right? But when you mentioned about your stage name and having to change from Lil Keith to Capital K, why Capital K? Like, as much as, yes, you're no longer a kid anymore, but why capital K? And then, of course, Cap City, because you moved to the States. That was a good enough reason. But
So this is gonna sound real petty. It's gonna sound real.
petty is good.
I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I was that guy. But so Lil Keith was cool. But the only reason my name was Lil Keith is because everyone had a Lil. Everyone had that kind of Lil name, Lil Wayne, everyone just yeah. Everybody had that, so it was like I just wanted that Lil Keith, and then that just kind of felt it just felt uncool. The older you get, the name just kind of seems a little uncool. So I was in, I used to be part of a group called Showtime. That was me, Simba Tagude, Tags, Dutch, what do you call it? A bunch of us guys. We were all part of this group, and shout out to Gorde, shout out to the homies. Yeah, we were all part of this group, and I was like, my name, and then they were like, all right, let's think of some ideas, and then Tags was like, well, why don't we just call you Capital K? Then I was like, that's very interesting. And I was like, what? But why? Then he's like, no, K, because your name is Keith, starts with a K, and Capital, your family has a lot of money, so it can be money and K, Capital K. I was real petty. I was like, hell yeah, nigga, we got the money, we can do whatever. Yeah, nigga, that makes sense. We don't spell capital with a C. We spell it with a K, so that the theme just kind of plays out. And I was like, yo, that's fucking smart, man. You're a smart man. That's kind of how it happened. So that's when Capital K was born.
Right. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. It's so cool to know. And so, like we mentioned earlier, that you discovered, well, I guess you discovered music when you started listening to Bow Wow, and that was actually your inspiration, right? And so have you actually had collaborations with the likes of Bow Wow, some of the other American rappers, or is it
I haven't had those type of collaborations. The music business is very funny. And remember, I just moved to the States, so we a lot of time just trying to learn the terrain, of the hip hop here and how it really works. Is it payola? Is it relationships? Is it off the strength of I just like what you do? All these different type of things. So I haven't had the ability to get into a studio with someone that I really, really, really want to, but it's still the goal. Because I've been in the game for a minute, but I also got in when I was very, very young. So I'm not so trying to figure out what's the best fit for us that's going to help us take at least the Cap City brand to the next level and shine a really good light on it. But yeah, that's where we stand.
Okay, that is actually interesting, and that's awesome. But
I have been in rooms with these artists. So I've been in rooms with artists, maybe from just sitting and watching, observing, walking past them in this recording in the same sort of place. Like, yeah, it's much easier to rub shoulders on this side, obviously, because it's the location. Yeah.
Right. And so why music? Why music? Because, like our people, especially Zimbabwe, it's either you're a nurse, a doctor, lawyer, that type of profession, right? The arts are not so much celebrated. And we're so blessed to be out here and the exposure and all that fun stuff, right? But then for you, why music? Why did you decide music was it?
Yeah. So for me, music is my thing. Like, it's, once something is a part of you, it just is a part of you. It's one of those things where even if I made $1 million selling microphones or whatever the case is, I still have a thing for music where I think it's just innate. It's just something that's just a part of you, and something that, especially if you can see yourself in a bigger space, you can see yourself getting there at some point. Like that kind of intuition or that kind of drive and passion just keeps you doing that. I personally, between you and I and everyone who's watching, I don't make a living off of music. That's not where I make a living off of running a successful taco restaurant. Like, I make the best beer here in Florida, in South Florida. So I make that, and that helps me supplement to do all the other things. But I also make money from writing music. I make more money from writing music than I do from performing. And I'm writing music in South Africa or whatever the case. That's where I make my money the most. So music is just one of those where I kind of know where I'm going to go. And when I do it, I want to do it to the max. So when I get on a show, I want to be paid $50,000 to $100,000. I don't want to be given $400 a show or whatever, but I'm trying to get myself to that point where I'm so hot of a commodity, it's undeniable that when I'm asking you for these six figures, you're able to give it to me, you know?
That's it.
Like, despite whatever anybody says, that's our goal. My team and our goal is to not just be an artist. We want to be global superstars. Like that's what I'm saying. So it might take a little longer, but it is what it is, you know? We move at our pace.
But then what do you call it? The way you go up there is the way you go down. Like, that's what I believe, right? Overnight success is not fun success, if I should put it that way, because I believe you need to enjoy the journey. You need to enjoy the ups. You need to enjoy the downs. You need to enjoy the rejection. You need to enjoy everything that comes with, you know, with the journey of your calling, if I should put it that way, not just music and stuff like that. But then again, I know we live in a world where, oh my gosh, microwave life. Everybody wants the microwave life. We want success because of social media. Oh my gosh, the numbers. Oh my gosh, you know, Amanda's got these numbers. KapCity's got this numbers. So I also want these numbers overnight. And then now we have people stressing themselves, or I can't even use the term stressing, or putting themselves under so much pressure for no reason, right? All in the name of, you know, I want to be successful without a goal. It's only I want to be seen. I want, you know, people to see me. But you know what? I love your vision. And at least you have a goal. And like you said, however long it'll take. Because if it's your calling, it's your calling. You don't even need to be hurried and say, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. But you know what? Yeah. However long it takes, I salute you for that.
You got to move. My dad used to tell me, oh, you're only competing with the man in the mirror. At the end of the day, you don't know what advantages that person have. You don't know what deep has. You don't know what that person is doing to get to where they got to go. The only thing you can control is you. So just work on yourself and work on your thing. And that's why me and my team now, we kind of have we have a schedule and we have a strategy, an idea of how we're gonna stir this ship and kind of get to where we got to go bit by bit, you know?
That's good. And that's perfect. Oh, maybe we might learn one or two things from you, saying that you have a podcast. I am so excited about that. And hopefully that's what you're going to be talking about in your podcast. And speaking of which, no, before we get into your podcast, how has been your support system? Because you chose music, and our Zim parents will always be Zim parents. Come what may, right? But then again, due to exposure, it could be different. And, you know, the support could be fantastic. And then again, some people can be pushed by parents saying no, right? But for you, how has been your support system with this choice of saying, I want to get into music? Yes, I have the restaurant and stuff like that. But then also this requires motivation, writing, right? Writing requires motivation and stuff like that. So
to answer your question, my parents have always been A1. They've always been straight up supportive of my music, regardless. Remember, like when I told you when I moved from North Carolina to Zim, my dad used his resources to make sure my dream came to life. You know, he did whatever, because I wasn't also, you know, I was a smart kid. I got all A's. I got good grades. I freaking A-level math and Form 3 type shit. Like I was always on top of my studies and on top of my books, on top of my school. So I was never that kid. I was never that badass kid. I was always a very stand-up kid. So now when it came to me wanting to do things that I'm passionate about, my parents always gave me the freeway to do whatever, obviously within certain guidelines and stuff like that. So my mom, writer. She's a writer till this day. My dad was a writer before he passed. I know our relationship kind of strained, but that's family politics. Everybody has that. But
sorry for your loss anyway. Yeah.
If you remove that, he's the one that helped me birth this dream that I had to even touch a microphone. And, you know, I remember the first time they played our song Let's Party on radio. I cried because I couldn't imagine that my song was on radio. It's like 12 midnight in the morning. I'm on a bunk bed and I can hear my song playing on, I don't know if it was Star FM or can't remember what it was at the time, but shit, my song is playing. It was freaking dope. So they've always been supportive since day one. And it's just been great. It's just been dope. It's just been all the way through. My sister Nicole, she's my biggest supporter. Is my number one fan. Anything I do, she's on it. So yeah, no, it's been nothing but love. No one has discouraged me in any way. Everyone has always told me to just keep going, keep going.
And we love that. That is also, by the way, I also started knowing you through radio, just so you know, and we love your music. I am really not a hip hop fan, but when I do listen, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this, because it's the context really that, you know, that you listen to and where they're going. And usually hip hop is about what people have gone through in life. Well, really music. Music is about, you know, expressing yourself in a way. But you know what? We love your music. Bravo to you. And keep doing great, man. Keep doing great. And so now let's get into our new baby, this new baby of ours, like the podcast, the KapCity Show. Yes.
Right.
I bet you your phone's been ringing left, right, and center. You've been seeing so many covers. You've been seeing so many posts. And we're like, oh my gosh, going viral and all that fun stuff. Dude,
Yeah.
before we get into the viral shit that's going on, mind bringing our listeners up to speed with what your podcast is all about. Let's start with that. I think that would actually be helpful with our discussion.
Some context is definitely necessary. The podcast idea that I had. Obviously, the podcast is where the world has kind of shifted over the past couple of years, right? So everyone's now opening up a podcast, doing something like that, just to kind of, you know, get behind the scenes on a lot of stuff that's going on. So I decided to do a podcast myself because I'm in America. I'm lonely. I got no one to talk to. I just want to speak to people. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I did it because it's like, you think about this, Thando, like it's hard for us to get a platform. You have to pay to get on certain platforms for people to interview you, to kind of get your music off, or get whatever you're trying to sell, your fashion, whatever it is. It's hard. I know myself. I know I can speak. I know that I'm good in front of a camera. So I sat with myself and I said, yo, why don't I create, after trying to get my friends involved, I tried to get my friends involved for us to do a podcast together. I think we got great topics we can put together. We can chop it up. I think we can all put together something special, but everyone lives a different life. People have different schedules. People have kids. People have this, that they have to do. People get sick. People, you know, it's hard to manage. It's hard to manage, let alone 3 or 4 guys that you're trying to do something with, you know, especially when, you know, the older you get. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to sit with myself and I'm going to think about how I can add value as one person, right? So my podcast is centered around music. It's centered around music with me and my fans, and bringing them into my process of how I make music and how I kind of assess the music that's happening outside of that. But not only that, what I do is I dedicate the first, I think, 5 minutes of my podcast to artists sending me their music, and I critique it live while I'm listening to it. And I give them constructive criticism based off of their songs that they send to me. And then I give them that platform to be able to submit their music so that they can also have a platform to be able to be heard and do their thing. And then I get into the nitty gritty of what it's like, how I'm living, what I'm doing, how I'm mixing, how I'm mastering, what I'm sending out and stuff like that. And just, you know, I got a fun side to me too. I got a really funny side to me, so I can give people a link to what life is like in America, what it's like chasing dreams, the obstacles, the funny stuff. The hard stuff, all that stuff. So that's why I just felt like, yo, I got a camera in my room. I got a dope setup. Why don't I just take advantage of all these things, you know?
Absolutely. And with that being said, you know, I like the way that you mentioned that to add value, you know what I mean? Because we need to feed each other positive information, if I should put it that way, right? And seeing that you're in entertainment, we would consider that infotainment for you, right? And based off of your first episode, you know, we love the goal of your podcast, right? And it's all about music, exactly what you do, which is, you know what, you live it, right? And you've got exposure really more than anything compared to other people who are still trying to come up. And we salute you for that, because it takes courage, especially by yourself, to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I too, we wanted to start a podcast with my girls as well. But then, like you're saying, I'm here in Canada, the other one is in England, and the other one is in BC. Time zones. You understand?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, you know, but then you deciding to say, you know what, I can still add value based off of what I know, what I can do we love that. We salute you for that. And you know what? Keep going regardless of, being misunderstood, right? And talking about being misunderstood, talk about episode 1, right? Where you're giving advice to our Zimbabweans, your fellow Zimbabweans as well, as a rapper, right? To say, yo, okay, this is what I think, or this is me knowing based off of what I know. It came off a bit controversial, you know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I flipped too. I will tell you, I'm one of those who's like, what did he just say? Until we have a WhatsApp group on our radio station too, right? So it's more of, okay, what do you understand from this? What do you understand from that? And then get other people's input. And then you're like, oh, try and understand. But then again, we're like, but if we need to explain to each other, nah, we need to sit down with the guy, get it from the guy, because maybe it was in the articulation, maybe because when I now went on Instagram, I'm seeing Zim celebs, like and the comments on Zim celebs, like people, I'm like, gosh, keyboard warriors, just stop, right? Get to understand what, where his angle is or what he actually means. Do you mind actually just setting the record straight? To say, okay, your first episode, I bet you right now, you may have sat down with an Amdiwa would have been one of those to grab you and say, oh my gosh, because he's another hip hop artist and that's so the boss.
Like before this interview, I just got off the phone with I was in a Twitter space with like 100 people and discussing it. Yeah. So
it was in Madiwa's space?
Yeah, it was Madiwa's space.
It was a given, man. Like I knew you would respond to that. But anyway, let's do this.
So let me break it down. So entertainment, right? So that's one thing a lot of people have to understand. And I've been studying podcasting for like the past few years. That's why it's kind of taken me to this point to get it. Podcasts need to break, right? You need a breaking point. And when I say breaking point, you need a moment where you create a moment. It doesn't have to be controversial. It can just be a moment that can garner a lot of people's attention with underlying intention. Do you know what I'm saying? So gauging people's attention with underlying intention. My intention for music has always been positive. No matter what happens, people can go back and see what I did, the political thing that I did. I've always been on a positive spur. So, but one thing I do know about Zimbabweans is Zimbabweans have time. We have a lot of time, especially those who they have a lot of time because there's not much to do. There's not much to do. So,
but that was a good strategy, though. That was a good strategy.
It's smart, right? And you got to understand the mindset of your market. And I know that when it comes to like Zimbabweans, especially, when you say things like, am I allowed to cuss on here?
Go ahead, my guy. Actually, on Tough Love, my show is called Tough Love Giggles. So we have the tough love and we laugh about it. So go ahead.
But I know that when I say words like fuck or I say fucking or motherfucker or stuff like that, I know those are triggers. Those are triggers, especially if it's coming from a person who sounds American and is American-esque. Those are triggers. So people will hear that before they even digest the context of anything. But if you listen to what I say, it all makes people don't get that far, right? But once you know that, then you can now play the game. Because at the end of the day, what I want people to do is I want people to give me the attention, but I want them to soak the information, right? So, like with that, you start to see a shift. Like team and I were anticipating a shift, and the shift is starting to happen. So basically, when I put that clip out, it's kind of clickbaity because remember, it's a 22-minute episode, and we had to sit with ourselves and say, which clip do we put out that gets everybody's attention, gets everybody riled up, people who've never heard of KapCity? How do we, which is the clip? Do I put the Rick Ross clip? But they did that last week. Is that something that's going to get somebody? Nah. Say that little piece. That bad is bad, because that can be taken so many ways. It can be taken as insulting. It can be taken whatever. Just put it out. Let them go ham, right? So we knew that. We knew that. We just didn't know it would be 160,000 views later. We didn't know it was going to be that big. I was expecting maybe 5,000, 2,000, 3,000, maybe 100 likes. I didn't think it was going to go where it went, because it just went. And that's what reminded me that, oh yes, I'm dealing with my Zimbo. I'm dealing with my family. I'm dragging. They love the gossip. They just love doing that. So I was like, okay, but that's still good engagement, because there's no such thing as bad publicity. It's not scandalous. Just words. And what I'm saying is actually positive. Once you get past the anger and you start to listen, it starts to make sense. So it was all very strategic. And I just wanted to at least allow people to come and take that attention and turn that into absorbing the information.
Right.
And basically what I was saying was, to kind of wrap it up, what I'm trying to say is I was trying to basically tell people that if you're going to emulate the American style of hip hop, which means whether it's dressing, whether it's talking, whether it's, making music, the sonics of making music, then you just have to do it. You can't go from, like, I give this example all the time, how I was on Instagram Live that whole day talking to the musician. Everyone who's complaining is not a musician. But me, I'm on live with actual musicians who heard what I said. Asked them, yo, what I said offensive or was it inspiring? And a lot of them said it's inspiring. Actually, all of them said it's inspiring. And let me understand why. They were like, no, because me, I'm an artist who lives in Chitungiza. I'm trying to do this thing, but me, my only thing I can see is international. So when I see international, I just want to be like this rapper. So I was like, okay, give me a 16. Rap for me 16 bars right now since you're a rapper. They would rap for me, and at bar number 5, I would stop them because they'll try and do this American thing. And I'd be like, let me help you out. Talk to me like I'm your friend. Talk to me like we're just about to go to the club. We're about to get fresh. We're about to go pick up some girls. Talk to me like that. Just talk to me, have a normal conversation. They switch automatically from that twang to now speaking Shauna with such ease, such naturalness, such whatever. And I was like, well, why don't you rap like that? Because rapping is basically what you're doing now, but doing it faster rhythm. So why don't you, how natural that comes to you? Look how your lips move. Everything is so natural. But now when you're doing this American thing, you're now cocking your lips. You're now trying to I'm like, yo, that's unnatural.
And it doesn't even look good on you. Like,
no, it does. It doesn't. It doesn't sound good. And like my whole thing is like, this was the divide. A lot of people were thinking I'm talking about accent in terms of how Zimbabweans speak.
But that's it. But that's it, because it went on to, when you literally gave examples, I'm like, God, just stop, Cap, just stop it. Like, just stop. And guess what I thought of? I thought of chop my money. I'm like, Cap, please don't back, don't wick and work. Which, you know what? When you said it, I was laughing because I'm like, you literally brought out like the Shana accent. I'm like, I get you. It's legit. Yeah.
Right. See, so now that's what was happening. That's what's happening. Everyone was now like, oh, but Nigerians, they say it like this, they speak like that. Then I said, okay, let me give you the distinction.
Right.
Don't forget Etes and uncles and Chichichi that also live in the ghetto. Don't act like I don't have people that live in high density suburbs with cousins and whatnot that also speak not so perfect English. English is not our. Let's not get that misconstrued. I obviously have that. Me, I'm specifically talking music. So you can't go, and I'm talking about emulating a style. So if you, for example, the Chi-Town boys, they have the way they speak, and all of them, when they speak with this language and they do it consistently. You can't hate on that. That's their, and they do it consistently. Don't change. But if you now want to start rapping like this, and then now you want to hop into some American twang and it's not sounding good, I'm going to tell you straight up, bro, I got an ear. It doesn't sound good. Obviously, the way you got to the clip made you get angry, made you aroused. But if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm not talking about the fact that you pronounce bad as bed. Yes, we know that my does that. Sometimes my mom even does that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about dialect. I'm talking about making music. So if you want to put on that sounds like it was made in the States, it's a drill beat or whatever, and you want to now try and take that American accent, that American sound, at least do it to perfection. Don't do that thing because it's not going to sound good and people are not going to believe it. Humans are not stupid. Like, music is a feeling. So if it doesn't feel good, they're not going to buy into it. And if it doesn't sound good, they're not going to feel it. And if they don't feel it, they're not going to buy it. That was the distinction with that.
Oh, damn. Guys, I hope you guys are listening and taking notes. And the one thing that you actually said that's spot on, I would say right now, because of course but to me, it was first reaction, because I have this whole thing, how us Zimbabweans, this is like legit without you saying what you said or giving advice or whatever. We have this whole thing. Oh yeah, achikora chirungu. Oh my gosh, ha 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 ha. You understand? And I'm thinking, guys, I'm in a diverse country right now. Canada celebrates different heritages, different backgrounds, different cultures, and we have the Chinese people, Indian, who you can actually still hear their thick accents, right? And I'm like, so why do we laugh at each other as Zimbabweans, right? You understand? Which is so sad. And when I look at that, but then again, it's where we come from, where we're made to believe that English is supposed to be extravagant, or you've made it.
That's why with platforms like Zim Celebs, and I talk to them on the DM on the side. People don't know that, but like when I see that, I don't bother going there because I know why people are in the comment section there. No one's there for anything. People are just there to drag. So just keep it away from that. We know exactly what that's about. Zimbos, that's all they want. So it's like, all right, cool. Stay away from that and let's actually focus on the positive that's actually underlying. It's not just about bringing attention to Cap City because, oh my God, I need a moment for my music career or whatever. No, wow, it's like, I'm actually feeding y'all some game if you actually just time to listen,
Right. And I just hope this is actually a learning curve and a learning lesson for like our Zimbabwean people to say, you know what, trust me, I know our people. And as soon as I saw that post, you are right. The page I went to, Zim Celebs, it was straight. Yeah. Because
go to my page right now. You see, I haven't turned the comments off because that's good engagement, right?
Absolutely.
So the good engagement.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out yet.
Go to my page, go to the post, like 500 comments. Just go read. They're all killing me, wishing me death. They're all going crazy. They're all going bananas. But I know I expect that because that's kind of how they're conditioned to be, because a lot of these guys have time. They've got nothing to do. It's the cool thing to do. So what we did was, that's step one. That was phase one, was putting out the clip. Bow, right? Phase one was putting out the clip. Phase two was putting out the second clip about the Ross, right? About Ross performing, which you'll probably want to discuss later, but I won't get into it. But was that clip. And then step three was now, okay, you heard what I said. I'm not backing down. I'm doubling down. Let me show you talent. That's when I dropped the video that I dropped this morning. And that's got about almost 20,000 views now, and 100. It's got mad numbers still. And now go to the comment section and see how everyone's turning around now. Everyone's now starting to understand.
Reaction, baby, reaction.
It's all psychological, yo. It's all psychological.
Learn a thing or two from you now.
People are very fickle, but if you make like I believe in myself the same way you believe in yourself at what you do. Yeah. I know that I'm talented at what I do. I might not be where you think I should be, but I still things that I'm doing. I still believe in everything I say and I stand for. So when I put something out, I'm doing it with the intent that I know that I'm going to follow through with something. I'm not just doing it to someone who just considers us for no reason. I know that back it with whatever I'm talking about. And that's why if you just go, when you're done, go on Twitter, go look. Everyone's now starting to,
we love that.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, maybe we should have listened. Maybe we shouldn't have just jumped the gun. Maybe we shouldn't have just
like we love it. No, we love it. And I am so glad. And like I'm saying, even like now, the fact that I'm laughing, and I am admitting, because I'm not one person who likes to pretend and say, oh my gosh, and did a out of it, because I was the first one to react too, right? But then also with time, and then you hear another person's perspective to say, no, he's probably trying to say this. If you want to emulate the American style, you may as well do it right? It's as good as if you're in Rome, do what the Romans do. That's it, period. Right? For you to get to the next level. But then, although I think, like you said, we took it as, accent, straight to the point. Like, nah, accent. Yeah. And you're not even listening to the context. You're not even trying to understand.
That's gone.
That's gone, right? But then I think for me, natural reaction was based off of experience. Like I'm saying, you hear Zimbos laughing at Munut, oh yeah, or whatever, sekwa. But then again, it's not about that. It's about you believing in your work. I love what you said. If you cannot believe in your work, why should I believe in your work? Like, help me understand. You understand? Because at the end of the day, it's as good as love. If you cannot love yourself, why should I put that burden on somebody else? Like,
correct.
Help me understand.
That's correct. And like to add to that is, all these guys are Twitter, the internet gangsters, I'm talking about real artists, talking to real artists that are in the field, that are coming to me saying, I now understand what you're saying. Like, this is exactly,
Absolutely. And we love you and salute you for that. But before we finish our interview, and definitely we're going to get into the Ross one, and we want to also go on the positive side of things, because this is us setting the record straight, right? And also it took time for people, for people to I think the one thing too is because you guys knew. Because that small clip was going to do a lot, but it only took somebody to say, you know what, I want to listen to the full context, to listen to the whole podcast for me to understand where they're going. It's as good as people misquoting the Bible.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Read the whole chapter, guy. Like, so you can understand where, you know what I mean? Don't even try and use it to suit you at that present moment. But then you, right, just read the whole chapter. But you know what? We love it and we love you. We love your music. And of course, we look forward to more of your edutainment podcast. And you know what? It's quite, you know what? KapCity is such a phenomenal person. And guys, you know, I feel like we need to take time to understand our people. Let's put it that way. It doesn't necessarily have to be music. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the arts industry or whatever. But then out there on social media, let's listen to the positive side of things, because social media can impact us in a negative way. And right about now, KapCity was actually setting the record straight on his first episode of the KapCity. I'm so sorry about that. Of the KapCity, and explaining to us that no, it was in a good light, not in a negative light, the way it has been taken out of proportion and, you know, sharing on all social media platforms and stuff like that. And you know what? We truly appreciate him taking his time out of his busy schedule, trying to tell you guys, but I hear why it's out of love, guys. It is out of love. And there's more to it, right? Where we're going to hear the positive side of things, how things shifted in the very same podcast with our very same people, the very same keyboard warriors, you know, after listening to something really positive, right? But then, of course, us as Zimbabweans, we have this thing. He knew, and he actually did it right. KapCity, you're amazing. I'm giving it to you right now, dude.
I was telling you, I had to specifically, I didn't specifically tell my team about the move, because I was like, you know, sometimes you can be talked out of this because you don't know how it's going to work out. You know, you kind of don't know how play out. But if you have a backup plan, I mean, they trust me. They trust every decision I make, every song I make. You know, it's always with good intent. So if I would have talked to them before releasing that clip, Thando, they probably would have talked me out of it. But
right,
and sitting here having this conversation, do you know what I'm saying? Over the
right.
world. I said, like all the other space conversations I've been having, it's now everyone's talking. We're talking about it. Let's talk about it. Let's have this.
Absolutely. And also the thing is, like you said, it is, they could have talked you out of it, because funny enough, the one thing that I learned not too long ago, which is a fact, I'm a creative, and sometimes I can be hard-headed, thick-headed, because I'm a creative. I have my way of thinking. I am creative. Like, no one will be able to understand until I put it out there. You understand?
Correct.
So I totally get it. Some things, some moves, of course, you have to have a plan B, but still, your first instinct, I usually believe, is it, right?
Yeah.
Say, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to go with. But if it doesn't work, I always have a plan B. And you can never, you know, understand a creative until they've done what they do, right? But you know what? This is actually pretty cool. So moving forward, and in the same episode, in the same light, would you like to elaborate, like on the next clip that you posted? Hey, same people. My guy, like, help me understand, what was your thought in that moment? You know your people. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, yeah, I just know the psychology about people, because everyone just wants to jump on whatever's hot, you know. Everyone's trying to get in on whatever's happening, and if you're not in the media, you shouldn't even be participating in that kind of thing. So what I realized was, once I put the next clip out, it'll give people more context to where my heart is. Do you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people saw that and thought I was condescending and thought I was saying, hey, I'm better than all you guys. I'm privileged. I come from this family. You guys are broke. You can't speak. You never learn English. You're still in the ghetto. And well, everyone was saying all that type of stuff, where it's like, guys, just do a little more research. And by saying a little more research, how about just clicking the link and just watching for 22 minutes? Instead of spending 22 minutes on other nonsense that's happening, you know, on the timeline or whatever the case may be. So when I put up the clip with Rick Ross explaining the fact that he's coming to perform in Zimbabwe in November, and the thing about Winky D and Ja Preza coming to the show and opening for it, and should hip hop artists have that look? I'm always for the artists. I'm obviously for hip hop and Zim. So I had a clip that went out saying, yo, I don't think they should perform there. As much as they're greats, they're legends, they're kings, like they're solidified. They do what they do. We all know that they have undeniable talent, but I just don't feel like that's a space for them. And then I was explaining how I feel like hip hop artists that have been struggling for a long time to get a look, to get some sort of placement, to get some sort of cosign. Like if you bring the biggest hip hop artists to Zimbabwe, and you have local artists who've been in the game for a while doing their thing, and this is not me included. I'm talking about over there because I'm here in Florida, not there. So the people that are actually on the ground there, why don't you use this opportunity to shed a light on what on these hip hop artists, so that at least you can encourage the right way? Because the reason why people don't look up to locals as much from an artist standpoint is because they just need a cosign. You need some sort of social proof to prove that you're making money off music, making a living off music, and then that's why all these kids emulate what's happening in the States, because they see what's on TV, they see what's on their timeline, and they figure, oh man, I just want to be like that. But there's nobody close to them. But if you can merge like this Rick Ross sort of like feature, because this is his first time in Zim, if you can create some sort of quick workshop or some sort of meet and greet, sort of, position him with some hip hop stars that are doing their thing in Zim, I feel like that does everything for our culture. Mind you, the promoters might not even care about the culture, which I'm starting to learn. They might not care. It might just be a money grab for them, and they just make some money and keep it moving. But I just feel like it's too good of an opportunity to not allow a light to be shone on our hip hop artists that are locally there.
Right. And actually, you know what? It actually makes sense, like what you're saying. We've always had like a Winky DJ Pressure opening so many, there's so many, sorry, they're opening acts for so many artists right now. I'm sorry. I am actually losing my voice. For so many artists, right? And not giving space for our hip hop artists. And when I think about it now, how many people, like which hip hop artist has opened for an international act in Zimbabwe?
None.
I don't think I've.
There's nothing wrong with opening. Like I know, like South Africa had this thing about why should I? Listen, there's nothing wrong with it. We come from do you know where we come from? We come from the bottom of the earth, Like you know what I'm saying? In terms of this game and stuff, like we have bad economy. Like all the odds are stacked against us. We're not supposed to succeed in any of this stuff. Me even being, it's you being over there in Canada, you're not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like the odds are stacked against us, because if you compare the ratio of individuals like yourself that make it to Canada compared to those that still stuck at home trying to figure out how to get a visa, or even just try to figure out tomorrow, like the ratio is 1,000,000 to 1. So we have to understand that the odds are stacked against us. We're not supposed to be where we are. So if you're able to get stage and open up for Ross or Weezy, that's huge. Even for me, that's freaking like, I did it. Like this is what I used to do, and I got an opportunity and I did it, big or small. I did it. That creates hope about the other kids. That creates so much hope and inspiration for the other kids. And then you start that couple with some workshops and teaching them how to do this. Like it can get more elaborate,
Right. And I like what you just said right now, because I just lost I called him my little brother in Zimbabwe. And he was so young and talented at the same time, rapping in the streets. You understand? And I was shocked to hear about his death 2 weeks ago, of which he passed away in April. And for me, it was me checking on him. That's how I found out. You understand?
Wow.
Only to find out, like you're saying right now, where we need to give people back home hope. Right?
Yeah.
And people back home, especially the younger generation, they're resorting to alcohol, drugs, or whatever, because they have no hope anymore. You understand? The situation back home is so pathetic, right? And we still have family back there, right? And of course, we know how it is, right? But having to lose a young soul, and imagine how many more souls we're going to lose, or maybe how many souls we've already lost that we don't know yet, right? Based off of lack of hope. Because you can go to school. How many graduates do we have back home? So many. But what are they doing with their degrees, masters, PhDs, you name it, if they do not get the opportunity to leave the country? And is it a good thing to even leave the country? You understand? And right now, the health system, the doctors are planning on leaving the country. Who's going to take care of the health system?
Yeah. And that's why if we're going to get a little political, that's why our health system is the way our health system is, because this is brain drain happening. People are like, let me go overseas here and learn this and learn that. Let me get a better. But now, are you coming back? Are you coming back? Also, when you come back, are they making it easy for you? Are they helping you out to be able to establish responsibilities, and it's complicated. But I feel like you have to try. You have to start, because everything starts somewhere. Everything
Right.
starts. You know what I'm saying? And regarding the music, I just feel like it's just too good of an opportunity. It's like me, as small as I am on this planet. When I go to Zim, I still want to do a workshop with other
Absolutely.
artists, and talk to these other artists who are trying to figure out how to get out of, these ones that stay in freaking whatever you want to call it, in Highfields or whatever it is. These guys that just also want to rap and do things in their little houses or whatever. I also want to talk to them and just give some game and just give some hope, breathe some life into them, a little bit of something, just so that they can see, oh snap, this is one of our own. Whether I'm first generation or third generation, I am one of your own, bro. Like, I'm one of here in the flesh. My dad used to go back to the hood every Sunday with the cars. We Highfields, the field there with the cars and whatever. Not to really stunt everybody you grew up with, because what's the point of that? You don't get nothing from that. But it's that, and it excites them, makes them happy. It makes them feel like, oh my God, I'm close. Someone like Gene, he was able to rouse so much love from everybody, because he's a dirt boy who came from the same poverty all these guys came from. How he got to, that's his business, but he made it his own right. And people look at him like, yo, Jesse, bro, like, wow, like, that's hope. That's all it is hope. It's all hope. So, same thing. It's the same exact thing.
Oh, wow. And oh gosh, I just pray for our country, honestly. And I pray for the youngsters, and I pray also like for the entertainment industry more than anything, because the entertainment industry is not appreciated, to be honest. Come acting, come singing, come whatever. It's not as appreciated as any other industry, be it, give an example, maybe politics or, like other professionals, although the economy is just ruining everything, really, so to speak, right? And we just pray for our country as a whole, so that people can have hope tomorrow, right? For a better tomorrow. So as we conclude our interview, it is so I am so grateful for your time, taking your time coming here and having, we're having these serious discussions, because these are discussions that some people are afraid to even talk about it. Oh my gosh, how are people talking, going political like that and stuff like that? But then it's facts, right? And we're also trying to stand up for a Zim hip hop artist to say, you know what, you deserve a chance too. Right? With Rick Ross being there, how are you going to do workshops? Are you going to have, having a chance to open for him, or have something to learn from the dude, right? Firsthand learning from the dude. But we just pray for something at least. Right? And thank you so much for even putting it on your podcast.
Yeah, I just don't believe a money exchange should be where it ends. I don't believe it should be. And you got to think about Ross also. Ross is also thinking on his side. He's probably going to have a team come and shoot some stuff in Zimbabwe, like he always does. They probably shoot that with him to help himself over here. So it's like, yo, if you think like that, because that's how these businessmen think. Because business at the end of the day, so they can think like that, then how can you capitalize having him in your country, your little country that's trying to do whatever? How can you capitalize moment, since you have the funds to bring him? That's how you got to like think about the stuff.
Absolutely. And that's not really, that is so true. And so like, do you believe in numbers? And what I mean by numbers, I mean like social media numbers. Do you believe in, how come? Our people, like, it's more of, and I'm with you. I'm just like you. To me, it's my work, and then the numbers will follow. But for you, how come?
I believe, and I don't want to say misbelieve or whatever, but I how do I say this? Like, when it comes to the controversy of the clip that I put out, yes, I believe the number. I believe that, almost 200,000 people saw it. Yeah, I get that part of it, right? But in terms of if I put out a song and I get like 1,000 views or whatever, I still believe impact is something you can't measure, right? So whether or not you're doing the numbers, I know that I know I have a voice amongst my youth. I know I do. It might not translate to the numbers that you might see, but my power can come from just the fact that that I write for this specific artist, or that I throw events and artists, or I do whatever. So the social don't really matter to me, because I know that it can be gimmicky. It can be one of those where, well, first of all, there's a bunch of people that can fake their numbers and fake their whole ratios.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. You got that half, and then you got the other half who just jump on because something is hot and because something is entertaining to like stab and nab and just go at somebody, which isn't real. I would rather focus on followers that I have that are willing to buy my product and buy into me and are loyal than to have 100,000 of them who are just all over the place and nobody ever does anything for you. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can believe it, but I can also be, I don't believe it, because when I see you in real life, you're not like that. Or like when I talk to these artists on camera, on live or whatever, like all the numbers were saying, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. He's evil. Kill him. But I get on live and nobody says anything. And it's like,
but that's it. But that's what I said, KapCity. Ika anda tiji, my keyboard warrior. It's not a lie. Like, you know what? Some people, they're so confident and comfortable being. And what's even funny, you mentioned something profound earlier. They have the time. That's number one. Number two, somebody who doesn't have a vision, a dream, and a purpose, you have the time. We still go back. You have the time. Because honestly, if you didn't have a vision, purpose, and a goal, you're like, you know what? Like right now, you understand? Right now, I'm thinking, oh, I was doing my lines. I need to do my lines. I need to go and do this. I need to that, right? If anything, oh, listen to the podcast on the go, right? Get what you want to learn from it. And if it's not working for you, keep moving. Because if anything, you need to absorb positive vibes in everything that we do. If something is not working for you, there's so many podcasts out there. You understand? That you can listen to, that actually, that you can relate to and say, you know what, this works for me. But warrior stops you from doing anything, because guess what?
It's crazy. And it's so funny to see it in real time. And the problem is 95% of the world would never see it in real time. I told you, I just got off the Twitter space with Dio, and they put me on the hot seat where everyone was going to ask me.
Of course. Yeah.
First question, whatever. I answered the first question. Everybody's now calm. And it's like, but you guys all had this energy to me yesterday, wishing me death and wishing me, hey, go back to where you came from, your privilege. I'm like, but how come nobody's saying any of this now? Like, what's up? Like,
exactly. Could you please help me? Help me understand.
That's why it's like, I don't pay attention to them, because non-existent to me. That's not real life. I pay attention to the people I'm speaking to in real life, in real time. That's the school cut from, you know what I'm saying? So some of my friends are like, no, but me, I can't do that, because me, I always got to go through the comments and see, and I'm like, yo, you think I'm stressful? What do you think Kanye goes through? What do you think Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, what do you think people go through on a daily basis? They have to actually get lawyers to battle that, so you gotta be smart.
Absolutely. I was actually concerned for you. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope he's not reading this comments. Like, oh my gosh, because these people, they're crazy. Like, they're crazy. I even got on one of my comments being said, oh yeah, I am not going to stop following her because I want to see her fall. I'm like,
can you imagine?
I'm like, my guy, you're actually elevating me, if anything.
You don't know it. They don't even realize it. And then you know what happens now? You're going to counter with all this beautiful content, this very productive stuff, and that always wins. They did it to Chris at this Rihanna moment. He had that moment. I just said to myself, listen, the only way out of this is to just outwork the pace of the hate. Yeah. That's all I can do.
And that's it. And what's even funny, what's funny, KapCity? It's people who don't know you.
Yeah.
They don't know you. They don't know you.
Better.
Like, personally, they don't know you. And those who know you will know, we know KapCity. And apparently they will actually laugh and say, oh, we know a nigga. He's just started. Yeah. Like, he is just,
That's a fact.
But anyway, this is social media, baby. It is actually social media, and it is what it is. But anyway, to conclude our interview, right, on a lighter note, do we have a celebrity crush? Whether you have a girlfriend, whether you don't, and what is celebrity crush? Crush. Somebody who doesn't know that you like them.
Is celebrity crush. Let me think.
Be it Amara Brown, be it Tony Braxton, it doesn't matter. Zim, America, Canada, China.
I'm trying to think of some everybody would know.
I can imagine. Let's see. I am trying to imagine you right now, what you would actually be drawn to?
Oh, wow. This one's interesting. Now you got me on the spot. A celebrity crush.
So, after all this drama that's been going on this week, we're like, nope, let's just chop it off with something crazy.
Gosh, God, I know you got me. Let me think. There's one person. I think Alexa Sky is fly. I think Alexa Sky is bad.
Really? She is. She is actually. She is.
I think she's gorgeous. I think damn, there's a lot of fake people, a lot of fake bodies and fake stuff out there.
Check you out. So should we be concerned with your beard? Is it legit though? Huh?
No, this
exactly.
is super legit. I wish beard oil so I can promote it. That's what I'm trying to get into now. I'm trying to get into a beard oil so I can
check you out. You see now. I know a lot of people will fake out there, yo, and then people are like, why not us?
Some people can peel the beard right off like this, right here, and go right.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I got you on that one. Got you, but no, that is so awesome. And so, what advice do you have? I know you're already starting a podcast that you've already started with a really good advice on your first one. But what? Any more advice that actually the advice that you wish someone had given you? Someone had given you prior to getting into the music industry.
So this one's going to come from almost a point of privilege. I wish somebody would have told me that no one owes you anything. Nobody in this world owes you a damn thing. Doesn't matter if it's your mom, your dad, your cousin, your friend. Nobody owes you anything. You are accountable and responsible for every action you make and every action that you anticipate. So it's all on you. You're always responsible for the way you react to any sort of situation. Nobody owes you a damn thing.
I love that. And that is so true.
I wish I knew that as an entitled kid. I wish I wouldn't have for granted. I probably would have made a lot more money, made a lot more relationships. I probably would have had more businesses. I would have taken advantage of high school popularity. I would have turned that into merch, turned that into something with longevity. If only I knew that. For sure.
And the good thing is, realization is everything. You understand? And once you realize that, like that, you're already winning. That's the start of your win, really, because like you said, no one owes you anything. No one owes you anything. And feeling entitled, I get you, because I also always say in spaces, I am also a last born in the family. And I've also had this whole, I'm the baby of the family, so I need to get things my way. But I'm the last born in my family, not in the rest of the world. You understand? Like the rest of the world is like they're pissed out there, so you're gonna have to be a bit back. You understand? So it's quite profound to learn that you've also had to learn that realization, and also it comes through difficult experiences, unfortunately, but it's a good thing if you take it in a positive way, because it needs to grow, right? And not a lot of people get that opportunity, and they even die young with that whole self-entitlement, because some people may end up hating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I won't do this, you understand? But then by God's grace, and protection, you get to that realization and you're like, no, I need to protect my talent. At the same time, I need to stay humble in ABCD and continue doing what I need to do. And we just wish you all the best in your podcast. We wish you all the best in everything that you do, your music, your writing, your restaurant, everything that you plan on doing. Clearly, you're a serial, entrepreneur, and we look forward to more. Right. Thank you so much for coming through, yo.
Great. And by the way, let me give you your flowers. You're very good at this. You're very, very, very good at this. It's a natural for you. And I hope to see more. I hope to see you. Hope to see you. I hope to see you do your thing. But
Thank you. Fun fact, I am used to the screen more than radio. And when I was approached to do radio, like, I'm talking to the mic, I'm talking to nobody, I can't do this. I ignored the casting call, and they called me again. They called me again months later.
Yeah.
They're like, did you do the casting call? I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And Eric Knight was the first one to call me, right? And I ignored him. And then after 5 called me, I was like, until they're like, no, we'll train you, we'll show you how to. I was like, really? okay,
Wow.
let's do this, right? So when I just started getting comfortable and whatever, I was like, I'm going to call my show Tough Love Giggles because I love laughing, but at the same time, I love real talk. Like,
Right.
I don't beat
Right.
about the bush. And like I told you, when I also reacted to your video, I'm not going to pretend like I was like, oh my gosh, I was supportive all the way. But I also freaked out because of my own experience, right? And I've always wanted my show to have real talk like this. That's why I say to my producer, I want this, right? Because we want to hear where he's coming from. And it's only fair to hear somebody's point of view than crucifying him because we don't know the full story. You understand? And it's not fair to say to crucify somebody without knowing what they're going through. You don't know what the next person is going through for them to even say that or for them to react or say whatever it is that they're saying. But you know what? I appreciate it and thank you so much. I love it. So I'm going to learn more from you, though. I'm going to learn more from your podcast.
We're gonna bounce it back and make this a joint thing. This is dope. This was dope.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. We'll definitely keep in touch. But before you go, the last thing, I always want, everybody that I bring on the show, because it's all about growth. It's all about, KapCity. People didn't know you. Yes, you were trending the whole time. But then again, where can people follow you? Because, of course, some people were getting video clips off of WhatsApp, right? But then social handles, your Instagram, your WhatsApp, your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, your TikTok, if you're on TikTok and stuff like that.
Right. Everybody can get me at KapCity HQ. That's on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube. It's KapCity, KapCity HQ. Okay. That's my handle all across the board. For music, it's obviously KapCity, and I'm on all streaming platforms. I'm there. I'm gonna put some on SoundCloud just for the people who don't subscribe to like the DSPs or whatever. But all across KapCity HQ.
And you have a YouTube channel. We need that.
Yep, that YouTube channel is youtube.com/KapCityHQ. You're gonna see all my content there. The numbers are starting to translate now, so it's great. It's great. I think everything's just gonna start. What's the word? It's gonna start compounding as we go along.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much, KapCity. We'll definitely also give you the link to this interview so we can, make it so. Oh, definitely. We'll definitely do that. But thank you so much, my brother. And we will definitely keep in touch and we'll talk more. Take care.
So much, my love.
All right. Take care. God bless you.